You're born in a village in 13th century England, and before you can even walk, your stomach is already trying to kill you. Not dramatically, not all at once, just slowly, meal by meal, for your entire short life. Welcome. Grab a spoon. You'll be vomiting soon enough. Let's start from the beginning. You're born into a peasant family, which means three things. You will work in the dirt, you will die young, and everything you ever put in your mouth will be some combination of gray, gritty, and quietly trying to poison you. Your mother nurses you for the first 2 years, which is honestly the safest food you will ever eat. Enjoy it. It's all downhill from the breast because the moment you're weaned, you meet the great love and great enemy of your life pottage. Pottage is a thick stew of oats, peas, beans, and whatever leafy thing your mother pulled out of the ground that morning. It lives in a pot over the fire, and here's the fun part that pot never gets emptied. Never. You just keep adding to it. Day after day, week after week, new scraps go in on top of last week's scraps, which are sitting on top of last month's scraps. It's less a meal and more an ongoing science experiment. A bacterial civilization is rising and falling in that pot, and you're eating it 3 times a day. Do you get sick? Constantly. Does anyone connect the stew to the sickness? Absolutely not. Germs won't be discovered for another 600 years. As far as your family knows, your churning guts are just God testing you. Congrats, you're being tested a lot. By the time you're old enough to work, you graduate to the medieval staple, bread. Around 80% of your calories come from it. Bread is life. Bread is everything. Bread is also full of sand. See, when grain prices go up, bakers get creative. And by creative, I mean they bulk out the flour with bran, dust, chalk, ground up beans, and genuinely sand and sawdust. Town records are stuffed with fines for exactly this. So, you're chewing your daily loaf and it grinds against your teeth like you're eating a beach. Over the years, it files your molars flat. Skeletons from your era have teeth worn down to smooth little nubs. That's not age, that's breakfast. But sand is the good outcome. The good outcome. Because sometimes the rye in your bread is infected with a fungus called ergot. And ergot doesn't just upset your stomach, ergot ruins your entire day and possibly your life. First comes the vomiting and the burning, a heat crawling through your hands and feet like your limbs are on fire. They called it St. Anthony's fire. Then, the hallucinations. You see things, demons maybe, angels if you're lucky. Then, if you've eaten enough, your fingers and toes go black and rot off your body while you're still very much using them. One outbreak in France around the 10th century killed thousands. Whole villages, staggering, screaming, convulsing, poisoned by their own breadbasket. And you just ate 2 slices. Bon appetit. Just drink water, you say. No, absolutely not. You do not drink the water. The water near your village is where you dump your waste, where the tanner soaks his rotting hides, and where every animal in a 3 mile radius relieves itself. Drinking it is a coin flip with dysentery, and dysentery in the Middle Ages is a slow, humiliating, fatal way to leave the planet. So instead, everyone, and I mean everyone, including you as a small child, drinks ale. Weak, low alcohol, small beer from sunup to sundown. Grandma drinks it. The baby drinks it. You're mildly buzzed basically from birth to death, which, given your life, is arguably a mercy. The gentle boozing isn't the problem. The problem is what happens on feast days when you finally get your hands on the good stuff. A wedding, a saint's day, finally, meat, real meat. You've dreamed about this. Here's what you don't know. That meat has been sitting out. There's no refrigeration, no ice, nothing. Once an animal is slaughtered, the clock is ticking and it is ticking fast. So the cooks do what medieval cooks always do. They bury it in spices and strong sauces. Pepper, cloves, cinnamon, vinegar, mustard, anything with a punch. You probably heard that spices were used to hide the taste of rotten meat. That's mostly a myth. Spices were absurdly expensive, so if you could afford them, you could afford fresh meat. But the strong sauces did another job. They made questionable, slightly turned, been out a bit too long meat taste fine, fine enough to swallow, and your stomach, 3 hours later, disagrees violently. And the fish? Oh, the fish. It's Friday, and the church says no meat on Friday. So it's fish. But you live inland. That fish traveled for days, salted and dried into a stiff, reeking plank, and then soaked back to something chewable. Salt cod so hard you could hit someone with it. Herring so far gone your eyes water across the room. You eat it because it's Friday and God is watching. And then you spend Friday night making offerings of your own into a bucket. Here's the twist you didn't see coming. You spend your whole life thinking the lords up in the manor eat like kings, and they do, and it's killing them faster than your gray peasant sludge is killing you. Because the rich have money for the fancy stuff, and the fancy stuff is where the real poison lives. Take their wine. To keep it from going sour and to make it sweet, they add something called sapa, a syrup made by boiling down grape juice in a lead pot. Lead makes it sweet. Lead makes it last. Lead also destroys your nervous system, one delicious cup at a time. They call the resulting agony colic, and they have no idea their favorite drink is the cause. And it's not just the wine, their fancy plates and goblets, pewter, which is loaded with lead, their bright, gorgeous, Instagram-worthy banquet foods, dyed brilliant colors to impress the guests. Some of those dyes are straight-up toxic metals. The green might be copper. The pretty stuff on the Lord's table is a chemistry set. He's dying beautifully, and he thinks he's winning. At least your stew is only trying to give you food poisoning. His entire kitchen is a slow-motion assassination. So this is your life. Morning, sandy bread, maybe with a fungal surprise. Midday, the eternal pottage from the pot of 1,000 generations. Feast days, charmingly rotten meat drowned in sauce, or fish that fought its way back from the dead. All of it washed down with beer, because the water will simply end you. You get sick constantly. You throw up more times than you can count. Your teeth grind down to stumps. Your guts are a war zone. And through all of it, not once does anyone say, maybe it's the food. It's always God or the stars or bad air or an imbalance of your humors. Never the actual bacterial swamp in the family pot. And the wildest part? You never even know how bad it is. You have no point of comparison. This is just what eating feels like. Nausea is a Tuesday. A settled stomach is a miracle you thank the saints for. You genuinely believe this is normal because for you, it is. Eventually, you grow up, you marry, you have your own children. And what's the first solid food you feed your own child once they're done nursing? The pottage. The same eternal pot, still bubbling, now with a few decades of history in it. You ladle it out and you watch your little one's face scrunch up, watch their tiny stomach churn, watch them turn a little green. And you feel nothing but love and pride because you made it. You survived it. And now they will too, or they won't, just like half the children in the village. You carved the same fate into them that was carved into you. They'll grind their teeth flat on the same sandy bread. They'll gamble with the same fungal rye. They'll drink the beer because they can't drink the water. And one grim morning, one of these meals, the stew, the fish, the fungus, the lead if they ever climb high enough to afford it, will be the one that doesn't stop at vomiting. You never got to find out which meal it was. You just kept eating. Everybody did. So, no, you won't survive medieval food. Nobody really did. You'll just spend your whole life quietly throwing it back up and calling that living.